Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly.
Okay, great. I don't pay for Zoom, so they don't let you go for more than like
I don't blame you.
40
There
minutes.
was, I was a long holdout because I felt like meetings, well, this is not a meeting. This is a great conversation, so this is excluded. But I felt like meetings shouldn't last more than 40 minutes. And I thought, this is a great kind of guardrail that Zoom has given us, that they expire at 40 minutes. And so I held on to that for the longest time. But then finally, I was like, I got tired of. So, but I love it and I respect it, and I'm an advocate of the 40-minute meeting.
Yeah, yeah. I love like if the podcast becomes my full-time job and I depend on Zoom and then
Yep.
okay, I'll start paying, but it's not what's paying the bills yet, you know?
It all starts somewhere, and
Yeah.
it starts with kind of like we were talking earlier about having a dream and understanding, okay, this dream may not look like anything to anybody else, but it feels like something awesome to me. So I'm going to keep pushing in this direction and trust that it's going to develop into something beautiful.
Awesome. Um, uh, um, okay. If you could give one piece of advice to someone starting out, what would it be?
Don't question yourself.
That,
So often I would come up with just an organic, yes, I want to do this. And then as I started to just kind of systematically chip through it, I'd find 800 things wrong with it and why I shouldn't do it or why it didn't align with popular opinion. And so I wouldn't do it. And I would do something safer, something more contemporary, just something more contemporary. And it never felt right. I never felt accomplished. It always just felt very hollow. Even when I would have success or victory in those things, I never felt like I truly accomplished what my soul, had
uh-huh.
set out to do.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah. Besides doing the marketing right now, are you doing anything else?
I have a lot on my plate. I have my accidental business that I started, and that is super fun because we're still developing. We're still finding new ways to utilize the AI tools that we've built, how to give more value to our subscribers, and also how to create solutions to problems that I don't want to say are yet to come, but anticipating where we're going and our need for AI and going ahead and developing tools to fit those. That's one can of crazy. But then my daughter, she just turned 17. She
Oh,
owns her own business.
she
And
does. Wow, that's
oh, right. And,
awesome.
and so at first, when she kind of mentioned it to me, I was like, that's crazy. But then I was like, gosh, she's like been at my hip as I've been an entrepreneur. And so, of course, she's got the entrepreneur bug. And she had done the math. She wants to be a nurse. And she had done the math of going to nursing school and what that would cost. And I was very clear with her. I'm not writing you a check for this. Like, you better show up with some coin because that's how it's going to go down. And she was working at a local sub shop at the time. And she just did the math and said, I'm never going to make enough money working at the sub shop, the hours a week I can work to get to go to nursing school. And she was just deflated, thinking that she was going to be stuck in either just working at the sub shop her whole life or just doing something unrelated to what her goal was. And I was like, well, suck it up, buttercup. Like, I didn't have any good advice for her at that time. Just suck it. We all figured it out. We all got ourselves where we are. You'll figure it out too. And along that same time, I saw an advertisement online for a Card My Yard franchise. And I thought, kind of like I was saying earlier, when you asked me about kind of just advice, follow your gut. Know instantly what's right. And when I read that, I knew instantly this was right for her. It was creative. It had a flexible time. She could install the signs after school or in the mornings on weekends. It wasn't like she had to work a 4 hour shift or an 8 hour shift on Saturday. She could kind of shuffle things around. We had a whole kind of calamity around Halloween. She had a bunch of orders come in on Halloween, and she said she was being true to herself. She said, I don't want to work on Halloween. I don't want to miss doing trick or treating with my friends. I don't want to miss this. And I said, okay, how are you going to find balance between being true to yourself and fulfilling your obligations at work? She called those customers and said, hey, can I give you a free day? Can I install on the 30th? I won't charge you anymore. And then you have it for Halloween, and then I'll come in November and pick it up. They were thrilled. It was a win-win. And
Oh,
so I've been so happy. Originally, we thought the goal, the end game of the business would be just bringing in enough revenue for her to be able to go to nursing school. I never in a million years thought it would bring such a maturity and development to her because she's had to navigate things like she went on a cruise with her dad, so she was gone for a week, and she had to leave her business to one of her friends because I made it clear to her, I have my job, this is your job. How are you going to keep your business going while you're on vacation? I have to keep my business going
yeah.
when I'm on vacation. So she trained one of her friends to do the installations and the setups and how she likes to arrange them. And we just kind of, and so the whole time she was gone, she kept texting. How is she doing? Do the signs look pretty? Are they all straight? Because Jane's very organized with how she wants them done. And I said, oh, she's doing a great job. It's looking really good. Well, send me some photos. I need to verify. Like, so she was wanting to follow up. So it's been really nice to help her in that journey. And then also, I help small businesses get started. People who have a goal or a dream in whatever industry it is they want to do, and they want to start their business, but they just don't know how to navigate the system. And
Yeah.
that is something that can be very overwhelming to people. But also, I think about how many great minds, how many great businesses do we not have? Because people were just going back to fear. People were just too fearful or maybe intimidated. I was very intimidated when I first navigated it. But now I've gone through the process so many times, it's easy. But I think that's, I mean, that's how all things are. When you do it one, two, five times, it's then easy. So we do have an obligation to go back to those behind us and stretch our hand out to help them. So I
Uh-huh.
have kind of those three different things going on.
Wow, seems like you're busy. And your daughter's doing great. I mean, at 17?
I could not. I said I love it for her, and I love the impact. She just has started doing a podcast herself, talking about how she balances her life with sports and school and having a job. And I think about how many girls, boys, young kids, grown adults who are sitting at home listening to this, who are in that maybe that same place, thinking I can't do this. And then hearing from her, because her voice still hasn't really changed, hearing from her little baby voice how she does it every day. And she talks about her time management tools that she uses, her organization that she goes through. I think, yes, I hope someone's hearing this and it's making an impact in their life.
I was gonna say, what's the name of your pet of her podcast?
Right now, it's called Apollo Creations.
All creation.
And that's because, so we're very fortunate in our state, there's no age minimum to have an LLC. So she was 16 at the time. She was actually able to get her own LLC. And with that, she was able to, as the principal, to purchase her business. She purchased her franchise
That's
and
awesome.
opened her own checking account. She was able to operate. She was able to move about the cabin as an adult under her LLC. So that was really a benefit there that I wasn't expecting. But so we had to name the LLC, and we had just lost our German Shepherd Apollo
Oh,
just right before, and so that's where the Apollo came from. And then because her sign business is very creative, not only in how she arranges the signs, because it's individual units. So imagine happy birthday, but each letter is separate.
uh-huh.
She can spell happy birthday, or she can spell happy vasectomy day. We've done that card.
Oh,
I can understand the reason to celebrate that. We had one with a woman who had just finished her last chemo,
oh,
and her kids said, our mama is a queen. So
oh,
we
that's
got to put
awesome.
that in the yard. So I've loved being able to not only watch her develop her creative side, but to do something in honor of our pet who was just such a gentleman. If a dog can be a gentleman, and he was just so good to people, and so we're able to be good to people during these milestones in their lives, and that has been just such a journey. So right now it's Apollo Creations. That's also her YouTube channel. We were kind of debating last week if we should maybe change it, but nothing else. Kind of what we were talking about earlier. What feels right?
Uh-huh.
Nothing else feels right now for a name for it, even though you wouldn't think a 17-year-old girl would name her podcast Apollo Creations.
But I love the name Apollo Creations. That is awesome. I wouldn't change it unless she finds another name that reasons more with her.
Mhm.
But Apollo Creation, it's fantastic name. That is
Thank you.
really, really good. And kudos to her, and you for raising a girl so self-sufficient already. 17. No, 17. I was already working. I was
Yep.
the main breadwinner in my house because my mom worked
Yep.
at a school and I was the one basically paying the main bills. But I didn't want to do that. I had to. It was different. I was put in that position that I had no choice. If it was up to me at 17, I was just partying all the time. High school, woo, you know?
She does do that. She does. She has her share of fun. And what I love, because that you bring up something that I have been, I don't want to say worried about, but I do try to remain very aware if of her stress level, of her exposure. Is she being pulled too far? Is she being put in a vulnerable position as a 17-year-old on a podcast talking about, a day in a life and this kind of stuff? But as I watch her and I kind of take inventory, I realize she loves it. She gets just as much joy and satisfaction out of doing her work, her signs, and her podcast as she does going out with her girlfriends for a hayride or something. And so I try to really stay present. And the minute I see a shift in that, I've promised myself to speak up and say, do you want to keep doing this? Because I don't, to your point, I don't ever want her to feel like I didn't have a choice. I
Yes.
want it to always feel like I did it because I had a choice to do
Yes.
it.
Because she wanted to do it,
Mhm.
right? Yeah. Unfortunately, growing up, I didn't have a lot of choices on a lot of things, and I was a teacher. I was a daycare teacher on a pre-K. I did that for
I
some.
will drink to that right there because if I had to do daycare pre-K, you'd
Oh,
see me on the nightly news. I wouldn't make it.
no, and I barely did it. I barely did
Would
it.
not make it.
But the one thing that I was always made me feel sad for those children because these are 4, 5 years old. They should not have pressure on them.
No.
But we had this curriculum that we had to follow, and to do this, that. And some children picked up like this. They would go do their assignment and boom, they're out and they're playing. But then you had the children who it didn't come as easy. They just sat there. Like,
Bless it.
and I'm like, and it, depending on who I had working with me, I'd be like, you know what, child, just go play. You can deal
Yes.
with that another time. But sometimes I would have a co-teacher who's more like, they have to do the assignment. So it was hard because I didn't want to go against my co-teacher, but my heart was bleeding for that child who's
Mhm.
just sitting there looking at the other friends playing and looking at his paper or her paper and look at me and I'm like, and I'm just sitting there, like a hands tied in a way. But that was the worst thing that I always hated about it. It's the
No.
pressure that was put in some of the children. You don't need to know your name, how to write your name. You're 5 years old. Go
Mhm.
play. That's my opinion. And to a 17-year-old who do needs to know how to write her name,
Yes.
I also feel certain responsibilities should not fall into a 17-year-old. Like
Hmm.
I had way too many, but that's how I brought up. That was the situation that nobody chose. It's
Yep.
nobody's fault. It was just the situation that I was on it. But I feel like so happy that you say that and you're watching for your daughter, and like if you feel that's too much for her, you step in and you should. She might not like you for it,
Yep.
but you need to do what's right for you and for her, you
But you
know.
bring up I don't want to say controversial, but such an important aspect about development, not only in young kids, but in adults in the 20, 30-year-old age. I think there is so much social pressure and expectation that you should be at this place or at this stage at this time. You should be married by 25. You should have kids by 30. You should be writing your name by 4. Like there's all these expectations. And we either hit them and we hit them with just that visceral response that I was
Yeah.
talking about earlier, or you don't hit them at all and you look like, oh, poor pumpkin. But there's not a lot of, I don't want to say respect, but there's not a lot of respect for people to move at their own pace
Oh.
and on their own timeline. And that has been one thing that I've really taken away from the last 5 years or so, because I've moved not only on a timeline that was going in a direction I hadn't ever dreamed I'd go, but it was moving at a time it was moving at a pace I would have never even guessed. It's moving so much faster than I would have thought it would have moved. So I don't think that we put enough emphasis on respecting the individual timelines of things.
But even when you're like going back to the daycare, that because my career was being a daycare teacher, you know.
Hmm.
So you go to school, you go to college for all of that, and they give you all these milestones that children have to reach. By this age, it's
Yep.
this. By that age, it's that. But not all of them, it's the same. And then I would find myself talking to parents because parents will be like freaking out because my child is not doing this, but his little friends are doing it. But
Hmm.
and I want to, dude, these are different children. It does not
Yeah.
mean there's anything wrong with your child. It just means they have a different pace. My
Hmm.
sister, my middle sister, she was 2 years old. She didn't talk. She didn't walk. My mom took her to the doctor, and the doctor's like, yeah, she has something. I don't remember what it was. Told her she had something. She had to go to a special school. And my mom and my dad, who went to school, they knew how to write their names, how to read, but it's not like my mom never even finished like high school, or my dad finished high school at the time. But they were like, no, there's nothing wrong with my child, blah, blah, blah. We're going to put on a regular school. So there's nothing wrong with my sister. She's the smartest one in our family. She's the one with the master's degree. She has a fucking master's degree in accounting and business or whatever.
That
Well,
is
never finished
crazy.
college. And the youngest one, who we always joke how smart she is, never finished college either, never went to college. So we all have our own time. It doesn't mean that if your child is 2 years old, not talking or walking, doesn't mean you should not check, but you should
Hmm.
not freak out right away, you know?
Like different doesn't mean it's wrong.
No, no, it doesn't. We all have our own time, our own like. I don't know if you believe in God. I'm a Christian, so it's like my time. It's not God's time or the universe, whatever it is that you
Hmm.
believe. Whether you're atheist or not, you do know there's something else at work. So
That's so true.
your time, it might not be the universe time, if that's what you want to call instead of God, because I have friends who don't believe in God. They're atheists, but all the time like, well, if the universe allows, so I'm like, okay, yeah, yeah, let's hope the universe.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm with you. I'm not gonna say otherwise. I'm not gonna go against you. Sure, the universe. Let's hope the universe allows you, to do.
Mhm.
But that's how it is. We all have our own time. There's this video going around. She's an actress. I think she's might be in her 50s or 60s. She was just recognized for something that she did. I don't follow, but there is a video of her saying that if you don't make it in your 20s, try in your 30s. Don't make it in your 30s. Try in your 40s. You don't make it. Just don't ever give up. When you least
For sure.
expect, your time will come, you know? And for me, it came at 46. I think last year I just had this like, I'm 47 now. So last year I was 46. It was just like, not the one day I woke up and I'm like, oh my God. No, it was overcoming a lot of things. And one of the things that I was really scared to do was to start a podcast. First, I want to do a podcast, but what do I want to do? What do I want to talk about? So that took a while, took a while. I'm like, and then I told myself, and also talking to friends, I'm like, I think I have a story to tell about my life, but I don't want to obviously just talk about my. I started a podcast talking about my life. Sometimes I would say, yeah, yeah, welcome to the independent woman, talking about my shitty life, whatever's going on, you know? But I knew the first episode that I started, and I said this, I want to bring people, not just women. I mean, so far there's been only women, but I want to bring people,
Hmm.
trans, guys, gays, what I don't care. I don't care what you do for work. I don't care if you believe in God or not. We all have a story to tell. So if I can help someone put that
Hmm.
out there, make not go viral or anything, but maybe someone is waiting for that opportunity to share something, you know? And so last year for me was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna do it, and fuck the rest of the world what they think. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do me. I'm gonna be me, and I'm gonna be happy. And ever since this attitude, I just feel a lot happier and lighter, you know. And I only wish everybody could have a little bit of what I have.
Well, and allowing people to share their story is not only great for them, it's great for those that hear the story and how it can have an impact on their life because they may be thinking, oh, I'm the only person with this struggle, or I'm the only person that feels this way. So hearing someone else share their message and their story and their success, usually of that story, can go, okay, I can do this too. Because
Yeah.
even though I often tell myself, you're not special. Whatever I'm going through, someone else has gone through too. But it's easy to say that in your head. It's not easy to really own that in your soul. So hearing someone else kind of talk through that can be just so helpful. So I applaud that you're having this platform for that kind of just personal sharing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I definitely want to do this again with you so we can go more, deep into your
I love it.
career and your life. Like I said, I think everybody has a story to tell, and you definitely have a story to tell. And we got a little bit into that. We kind of wing it, and I'm having so much fun doing this with you. I'm almost done,
It's
so
almost time for a refill.
I know, right?
We'll have to refill and come back another day.
Yeah,
Like,
we
just
will
with
definitely
we
do
need one of
that.
those big glasses that like the whole bottle fits in.
Had two of those. Oh my God. And then they were huge. I mean, a whole bottle could fit into that. But they were so big, I was never using them. And then a friend of mine,
Yeah.
actually she passed away last year, God rest her soul, but she saw it. I'm like, you never use these glasses. Can I have it? I have something in mind. And I'm like, sure. She brought it to her house. She decorated her kitchen. One time she put like a little flowers inside. Super pretty.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love it.
And I was like, yeah, you can have it. I'm not really used because it was intimidating. It was so big.
You're like all this pressure to
I
finish
know.
this.
I know. It's super easy to finish a bottle of wine, but to pour the whole thing and then you look at it's like, you know,
I can totally see that. It's easier when it's in the fridge and you just go back a few
yeah,
times. Yeah, I
yeah.
was having that conversation with someone and she goes, well, how much wine do you drink a night? I said, a bottle. And she was like, and I'm like, yeah, a bottle. That's the serving size. It's one bottle. That's what you do.
Do you agree with me? A bottle, it's like 2.5 glass. If you go like how much, how many ounces in one glass? Like 4 ounces. So basically, if you do the 4 little ounces, you have like 3 glasses.
Which is nothing. Like, kind of going back to COVID, when I started drinking at home for the first time, I learned, gosh, when you go to a restaurant, they give you those little no wonder those poor servers are having to wear themselves out. I'm like, honey, just set the bottle down and save yourself. I mean,
I
that's like a thimble.
I know, yeah, yeah. So yeah, so I love it. I'll drink my wine and I do the.
Well, I love it. And I love that you match your wine with your guests. I think that is
I
just,
tried to do that. The first time that I had this lady from Texas, she was an aviation mechanic. And
ooh,
I know, right? I was like, oh my God, you're super smart. She goes,
yeah.
I don't see it like them. I'm like, dude, you're a mechanic. You fix airplanes,
Airplanes. It's not like she's a bike mechanic.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we actually had like two kinds of wine. So we The first half of the interview, we tried one and then we opened another bottle. It was just so
Oh,
awesome.
I love
I
that.
sent a message the other day. I'm like, oh, we need to do another interview. I don't care. I'm like, what we're gonna talk about? We'll come up with something.
Exactly.
That's
Wing
fine.
it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my God, so much fun. Yeah. Is there anything you would like to share with our listener? Whether it's something personal or you want to leave a number or your email or website for people to reach you in any kind of a way, whatever service you're offering.
I love it. Well, actually, I will leave my personal website.
Okay.
Is my name, JillianUtesh.com. And I'm able to really feature a lot of things up there that are personal to me that don't really, it's almost like a hodgepodge or a decoupage or whatever they call it. It's
Uh-huh.
things that I am interested in at that time, whether it's how to put your duvet into your duvet cover. We've all tried that, right? And there's not enough wine.
No.
But I
Eh,
found a way.
One of the
So
most horrible things.
but that's what they should make you do. Like instead of assigning people who litter, like instead of assigning them community service, they should be assigned to come to everyone's house and put their duvet back in their duvet cover.
Yeah.
It's that just Gitmo level work.
Or fold a fitted sheet.
Yes, that too. I mean, absolutely. So I can post about things like that. I post about fun things I find for organizing your Christmas ornaments
Mhm.
or cookie recipes that have been winners for me. So it's really just a decoupage of things. So I would say JillianUtouch.com, and then there are links there to my company website if that floats your boat, or my different socials if you want to follow me there. But I would love for you to be a part of my quirky
Yes,
little page.
definitely. And the next question would be, where can people find you or support what you're working on? And you just gave the website, unless there's something else
Yep,
they.
that's it. And it links to all my socials. My business website is Broken Glass Ceiling Marketing. Broken Glass Ceiling, because that's what we do.
I
And
love it.
when I was thinking of the name, I do this post-it note kind of thought process when I'm trying to think of something. I just write out things on post-it notes, put them on the wall, and then I kind of keep rearranging them into a way that hopefully makes some kind of sense. And what I kept writing was blow the roof off. I wanted to blow the roof off, whatever it was I was going to do. And you can't really name a business blow the roof off because that sounds like a terrorist or something horrific. And I didn't want to be like shut down right away. And then I just was like, glass broke. And I also wanted to be, because my daughter was kind of, she didn't own her business yet, but she was kind of coming of age. And I said, I want to do something that's definitely female centric. And those two things just came to be broken glass ceiling marketing.
That's awesome. Yeah. I will definitely attach to the
Yeah.
YouTube, you
Yeah.
know, and I'll tag you. And are you okay with this going on
I
podcast?
love it. I would love it. Yes, for sure. Because I can only imagine who's sitting in their home, whether they're in Croatia or
Right?
Texas, and they're going to hear this and something is going to resonate with them and they're going to go, yes, I can do this now.
The lady that I interviewed in the early afternoon, she's in Amsterdam. And it was awesome. And she lived in Japan. Oh my God, I loved her story. She lived in Japan. She has a tour business,
I
in
love
Japan.
this.
I'm like, oh my God, if I ever go to Tokyo, I will use your tour business. Yeah,
Yep.
it's so cool. Yeah. Um, uh, Thank you so much. I don't know if you have anything else that you want to share with us.
Absolutely.
Anything, whatever you want to say. Like, there's no rules.
I love this, and I love that this has been the most fun I've had. It's just been nice to talk about rant because I think when you get together with a good girlfriend, you're talking about all kinds of things, like what color M&Ms you like do you want to go see Taylor Swift? Like, just you're all over the place. So I've loved this that we've been able to kind of just talk about what kind of struck our mind at that moment versus kind of being on the structured, oh, we got to talk about work things. We got to talk about. So I love this opportunity. Thank you.
I'm actually planning. I made a post, but I didn't pick a date yet where I want to have all the ladies that I interviewed so far. And we do like we will sit down, everybody with their glass of wine, we
I
just
love this.
let's have a talk, like about whatever, it's on
I
our mind.
love it.
Just a space for we all, whether to vent
Hmm.
complain or to be hopeful or whatever, just glass of wine and all
I
the
love
girls
it.
together in a Zoom, that would be awesome. Yeah. So I'll definitely reaching out to you.
Please, please
Right
invite
back.
me. I would love to because I love meeting other women, especially women who are brave enough to share their story. Because for the longest time, I wasn't brave enough to share my story. So I'm so happy to be a part of a community that is.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's so awesome. I am so grateful that you took the time. Sorry that I had to cancel with you last week with being sick.
No,
And I was like, oh my God. I was like, uh,
that's life. It's a
yeah,
four-letter word. Yeah.
I know life happens and learning how to deal as life happens,
With
with
wine, our other four-letter word.
wine, right? Yeah, it makes it so much better. Cheers to you, my
Cheers,
friend.
cheers. Yes, enjoy your evening. It
Thank
was
you
so nice
so
to get to hang out
much.
with you.
Thank you so much for taking the time. You have no idea how much I appreciate. And we'll keep in touch. And yeah,
Absolutely.
thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, cool. It's good to get to
Have a
meet
good
you.
night.
All right, bye.